go. We're going to get started. This is Leadership 25, Chapter 7 of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And this is going to be a dynamic one today. Today is on the law of respect. And there's so much to that. There's so many different roads you can travel down in the area of leadership, with the law of respect. And I just want to highlight real quick as we get started, the beginning of the chapter, I was telling Diane and we were discussing Harriet Tubman because, wow, you could just take an hour and talk about Harriet Tubman and the leadership example that John Maxwell used with Harriet Tubman and how Harriet Tubman relates to how it relates or correlates to direct selling. Because here you are, you're leading a volunteer army, you're trying to grow something big, you're trying to really grow a dream here and grow a dream team. And it takes leadership to do that. And you got this Harriet Tubman example. And the reason why I think it correlates with direct sales so much is because of this. She said, I had reasoned this out in my mind. There was one of two things. I had a right to one of two things. I had a right to liberty or death. And if I could not have one, I would have the other. For no man should take me alive. I should fight for my liberty as my strength lasted. Now that is powerful because it's going to lead to one word that I'm not going to talk about yet, but it's going to come in just a few minutes. And that word relates to this sentence as well, because, it was either life or death. And she's going to fight for what she believed in. And then, she said, there's a quote by her that she said, I never ran my train off the track. She said, and I never lost a passenger. So all those years, she never got caught, and she never had anybody get caught escaping, out of the South and with that Underground Railroad. And it's just amazing. John Maxwell's book talks about that she was strong as steel, but here's one of the kickers that got me, and where it said on the test of leadership, under that paragraph, it said she lived in a culture that didn't respect Black people. And it made me think, wow, we live in a culture that's kind of like network marketing. We live in a culture that doesn't respect network marketing. And, that didn't stop her. It didn't stop her. She had 100% success rate, and she got after it. And of course, I'm not cluing in on that word yet. It's going to come back and make all this make sense. But she lived in a culture that didn't respect Black people, and she got it done. And she led well. You live in a culture that doesn't respect network marketing. And that hasn't changed. People didn't respect network marketing in the 90s. They didn't respect network marketing in the early 2000s. They didn't respect network marketing 5 years ago. Today, most people you sit with still don't respect respect network marketing because they don't understand what they don't know. It's just like people with Harriet Tubman. They might not have respected Black people because they didn't really know. They just didn't know. They were ignorant or prideful, things like that. And so the same principle applies here. But what's it going to take for you to be a Harriet Tubman type of leader? Anything?
No, I think we all agree as we were reading that part of the book that we probably had a lot of things that stirred in our own reflection of ourselves on ways that we can be, strong and resolute. Goes back to that fearless and unshakable concept that we keep, that's our mantra. That's what we stand for. That's what we're believing. That's what we want others to believe. And, that's the reality of what I see when I've read this chapter, because there's no doubt in order to get the respect that you're looking for, in order for your team to see you as a leader that they respect, not because you're a manager or director or whatever, it's all because that you're fearless and unshakable. And, with that is an umbrella of some, pretty strong things that really make or break, that respect mentality. And that's what I'm excited about, because I love how each of these chapters, they're just affirming and confirming the chapters before and the chapters to come. So much of this is stuff that, you may have already heard in the other chapters, or you may have already, you know, started to think about or started to process, but yet it's this constant unfolding of you being reminded of what you're learning and how you need to change, because this isn't just information you're taking in. This is the reality of what you want and should desire to do different, so that you become all that you're called to be, so that you lead well. Because as you lead well, you'll help others get exactly what they want. And we, you know, we pray for leaders. We pray for leaders of leaders. And that's what you should be praying for, because we all want to make sure that, you know, we're building the army. That means that it's the multitude of many leaders coming together and moving this huge movement, and this calling and this vision, you know, across the world. And so it's super exciting for this to be layer on layer on layer, for you guys to really catch it. And I feel like, just like Danny said, I feel like this law of respect is something that we have to catch. And I feel like there was some fine tuning in to allow us to do that today.
So, you know, people follow leaders they respect. So if we're talking about the law of respect, there's one word that I believe sums up leadership in general and people following you in general. And that word is certainty. Guys, it's certainty. If I had a branding iron right now and I could brand your spirit and your soul and just sear it into your soul and I'm talking a real brand, a fiery brand, the fire of the Holy Ghost. And that brand would say the word certainty. And I'd make that thing, you know, 1,000 degrees, and I would sear it on your soul. Certainty. Psst, right there on your heart, where that became part of you. It became part of your identity. Certainty. Are you certain in where you're going? Certainty trumps opinion every time. Certainty. There's just the certainty of where you're going trumps everything around you. The certainty of the message that you have to share, the certainty of the story that you tell, the certainty of where your life is going, the certainty of where you're taking your team. It's really about certainty. Now, people can be certainly wrong. People can be certainly prideful. People can be certainly arrogant. So certainty by itself is not necessarily the total answer, but it's the beginning. You have to be certain. I believe certainty, there's two other things that combine with certainty that will cause you to be an unstoppable leader. And that happens to be, you know, certainty, honor, and integrity. If we're going to sum up the law of respect, and we're going to teach the law of respect and become the kind of leader that we want to be, that really makes an impact in our generation, it's certainty, honor, and integrity. Because when you weave in honor and integrity in who you are with a strong and resolute spirit of certainty, nothing can stop you. And that's where you'll be at the highest level of authenticity that you could ever achieve in life. And that, my friends, is where the law of respect is. And so we can talk about lid levels for 10 more minutes. And, you know, John Maxwell talks about that. And I love the law of the lid, and it's applicable here because it's in his chapter as well. And, you know, people that are a 6, you know, are not going to really be able to attract 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s. And it's hard. It's a 6 may be able to recruit an 8, but then you can't lead an 8. And you're wondering why your 8's falling off, or your 8 won't follow you, or your 8 just won't get on board with where you're going. And you're trying to do everything right. And it's like, okay, well, I sent them the links I'm supposed to send them. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and they just won't respond. And a lot of times they're not responding because leaders won't follow someone that they believe don't have the leadership capability that they have. And sometimes they just flat out won't. And don't take that as offensive. Just take that as a reason to examine yourself and say, I need to grow. I'm going to grow. I want to grow because I want to become the type of person that can lead a level 10 leader. And, you know, some will get to that point and some won't, but really it's always going to be a personal challenge. I think our entire life is about the personal challenge of growing. And, you know, Jesus Jesus even talks about being perfect. You know, God said, be holy as I am holy. And Jesus talked about being perfect. And so I want to strive the rest of my life in the area of being perfect and being holy, because God said, be holy as I'm holy. So that doesn't mean I am perfect. And I'm not going to sit there and make excuses every day why I'm not perfect, but I want to strive toward that. And how do I strive toward that? Is self-analysis. It's self-reflection. And every conversation I have or every relationship that I feel like didn't go the way I wanted to go and I felt like it should have, or if I didn't recruit somebody I thought I could have recruited, and things like that, I'm going to examine, what did I say or not say? How did I present myself? What was my posture? Did they smell fear on me? Was there a posture that I took where I was just not, that I was weak with my message? That's a big one. A weak message doesn't get doesn't get you where you want to go in life. And the message that you're carrying deserves a strong messenger, because you got a strong message, and a strong messenger is going to be absolutely certain where they're going.
Yeah, it's so good. And as we're out, like even as we were out in Switzerland and you're in new areas and you're helping people grow, there's that doubt and unbelief that these guys are having to get past. And until they're past it, they're going to stay stuck. And that was one of the strongest things that we kept referring to, is that, they've got to get to this place where they're certain in where they're going and what they have. And it's not about, what about this, or people here are like this, or somebody else thinks this.
Our culture,
our
you just
culture
don't, understand our culture.
Or everybody I know this. I mean, that is reeking of the fact that you are not certain, that you are carrying doubt and unbelief in your heart. And that is, of course, what you're attracting, because what you believe is what you will attract. That's just a law of life. You've got to understand that. So this is why we have to stop and evaluate our own mentality when it comes to this idea of respect and certainty and leadership, because obviously you're on here because you have a desire to become a great leader. But we can't be offended when somebody's not following us because we're not the leader that they need in the season that we're in, and they may leapfrog over to somebody else. Don't be offended by that. Take it as a sign. I've got to grow. I've got to grow. And that's what's great about, I love that we have this reality when it comes to, the teamwork makes the dream work thing, because people do have a support team that they can respond to and that they can pull from. And if somebody got them involved and it's not the leadership they need, they can jump over and get to another leader. But as I was re-listening to this whole thing today, while I was working out, I just kept thinking of, like, again, these layers of understanding that we're continuing to grow in. And, I kept getting these 5 C's, and just, and of course, this is the way I learn. This is my way of teaching in practicality and kind of bringing in some things together to help other people learn too. And so I'm going to talk about these 5 C's real quick, and then we'll talk about evaluating them yourself. So again, you can figure out, where are the areas that I need to grow and be confident in it. So let's talk about, the first one is competence. Just having the competence necessary to be the leader that you're called to be. So do you know the business? Do you know the system? Do you know, the things to do? Do you know where to help, how to help somebody launch? Like, that's the competence. And so you feeling confident and certain in yourself as a leader. The other is consistency. This is so big because consistency is key. And again, it's something we've talked about over and over and over again, but have you caught it? Have you seen yourself changing and molding and becoming better in this area where you're staying consistent so that your team sees you consistent? Because what you model is what others will do, and that's how they will respond. And so if you're not consistent and you're not showing up when you say you're going to show up, and you don't, you're not available, then obviously that's very difficult for people to see you as a leader. The third one is character. Again, something we've talked about, just paying attention to am I working on my character? Am I getting better? Am I doing the things necessary so that, who I am and my worth and my value is I am who I say I am and not, the opposite, right? So just working on that character, do you live with integrity? And then, that you care for others, because that's the understanding. Like this, she cared so much. She had such passion for others that she was willing to do whatever it took to help them get out of slavery also. I mean, risk her own life, right? So because she cared so much. So that's the understanding, is like, we're out there serving people because we care. And so like, do people know that you care? Do they feel that from you, that honest opinion that you care about them, not that you care because you want something from them? Because there's a big difference. I had a conversation with somebody when we were in Switzerland. He goes, all these direct sale things that I've ever been in, all I ever got was phone calls because somebody needed me to do something for their success. And it was never about me. And those calls cannot be made. It can never be about what you want somebody to do so you succeed. It's got to be about, how can I help you? And your success comes automatically.
And so just to be blunt, what that means is, hey, Judy, I'm trying to hit a new rank, and if you'll do this, this will really help me. Or, hey, we're trying to help our leader hit a certain rank, and we're all trying to get an order in to help push that volume or whatever. That is not leadership. Okay. That does not command respect. It causes you to lose respect, because it's never about getting someone underneath you to do something for you. It's always about people above you willing to do something for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, so it's just a reminder, where's your heart when you're making those phone calls, so people feel what you want them to feel, instead of, that the opposite.
I'm trying to get to manager, and
matters.
I'd appreciate your support.
Or when
that's fundraising.
Win a contest,
Yeah.
So, and then number 5 is going back to certainty, which is that, that conviction. You are so certain that you have something that's going to make an impact. You are so certain in where this is going. You are so certain in this product. You are so certain in the future of this company. You are so certain that you can help somebody. Do you know that's one of the biggest concerns of so many people that holds them back, is they have a hard time believing that if I sign them up, now I've got to be able to help them. And our doubt and unbelief and our thoughts on how we're not competent or we don't have what it takes start to overcome us. And that's what we've got to stop. See, it's not about here's the reality. The great thing about this is the goal is not to fight our own negative thoughts, because that's what we start to do when we're working in these areas. Is the enemy wants to come and tell you what you're not. Yes, we have self-evaluation, but it's not about what you're not. It's about where you're certain you will go, right? Where you're believing that your true identity will fall in to the balance of this proper leadership focus that you have. And so therefore it's moving forward in that area. So it's just creating those thoughts where you're making those adjustments in, I'm not competent. It's, I am competent. And I'm continuing to get stronger in that. I am consistent. And so remember those I am statements. Remember those confirmations on who you know you are, even though you're battling in the background these negative patterns that you are overcoming, because you are an overcomer. And you continue to remind yourself of that. You continue to speak that. You continue to affirm yourself in that, so that you truly walk out yourself in your true identity, not these false lies that that our own mind tries to confirm and affirm because of our past or where we're not or what we haven't accomplished yet. It's all about where you're going and who you are certain you will become.
So convictions are everything, because the law of sowing and reaping doesn't really care about your pleas. It doesn't care about your begging. The law of sowing and reaping has everything to do. So leadership is always about conviction, and it is about the certainty of you knowing. Just like I'm going to go back to this. I used at one point a couple of months ago, right here. What we have is this package of seed right here. I know this image is of a watermelon, and what's in this package right here are watermelon seeds. Here's what I know. This will not produce a squash. This will not produce broccoli. This will not produce anything but a watermelon. So I know, because of the laws of sowing and reaping, and because of God's creation and what God did with this watermelon seed, that if I plant this seed in the right soil, see, you as a leader are a seed planter. You are to lead people by planting seeds of certainty in people's hearts. The certainty of your message, the certainty of what you're desiring for them, the certainty of what you believe they need, the certainty of the value you're adding to them. So if I add this value into the ground of fertile soil and I water it and I protect it, then I surely know what's going to happen, because it cannot fail. This is what's going to happen right here. I'm going to have a watermelon, and then I'm going to eat of its fruit. So this is leadership. If I want a volunteer army of several 100,000 people, all I know is that this will come. And it comes by me planting seed after seed after seed after seed of my convictions about my product and my convictions about the opportunity that I have with this product. Because if I don't plant the seeds of conviction, the seeds of the opportunity of what I know I have my hands on and how I can help others, because the main two things that people are looking for all over the world when they ask for prayer over and over again are, I need physical healing of some sort, or I need financial breakthrough of some sort. Those are the predominant prayer requests from people throughout the world. Their heartfelt needs. That's what the soil is asking for. The soil is saying, please plant seeds of hope in me, seeds of hope for my physical healing. Plant seeds of financial breakthrough into the soil of my heart of what I need, because that's what I'm requesting. So now you are the brilliant messenger that becomes the leader that people respect, because you are carrying a certain message. You're carrying certain seeds of product into the marketplace to change people's lives with. You're carrying certain seeds of opportunity with truth, backed up by truth, that can help people in their area of greatest need. And that's how people will follow you. Your lid level will rise. Your lid level will rise with your convictions and its relaxed intensity. It doesn't take, it's not a loud voice. Command does not always need a loud voice, and authority does not always need a loud voice. It needs conviction and it needs certainty. It doesn't always need hoopla and charisma and craziness and all that kind of stuff. It needs the conviction in your heart that carries through in your eyeballs and comes out of your eyes, because you are the light of the world. And it comes out of your heart because they sense a love and compassion, but a strength of resolve in you, that there's something about you that they have to hang around. Like, I just like these people. I want to be around these people. There's something about them that they make me feel good. They make me feel like they stretch me in the right way. They challenge me in the right way. They encourage me in the right way, because we have to be stretched. And that's how our lid level gets raised. And so you are going to gain respect from people. You know, John Maxwell talks about it. Y'all know that the 3 areas of respect that you get, like if they respect you as a person, you know, that they're going to admire you. Now, if they respect you as a friend, they're going to love you. And if they respect you as a leader, they're going to follow you. Okay. So, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, I think there's so many people on our team. Let's think of a few right quick, because it's great to shout out some of our leaders. You know, when I think about Joe Navarro, the reason why Joe Navarro's one of the hottest guys in the company right now, you know why? Because people sense a conviction about Joe. It starts with his story of why he got in Lifewave, and he has been beating that drum of the certainty of where he was going to take his family and wasn't going to be denied. He knew he found the product. He knew he found the opportunity, and he knew he found the system, and you weren't going to shake him, and he was going to build an army. And so right now, if Joe Navarro does a phone call, everybody wants to be on it, because they want to hear the certainty of his message. You know, another one I think of is Rebecca Plant. You know, we've known Rebecca for over 25 years, and we've always you know, I've seen Rebecca go through ups and downs. You know, we've always loved her and respected her as a friend and, you know, and as a leader, but I've seen her leadership go from like completely change gears from a year and 4 months ago. I would have said, you know, that I respected her as a friend. And you know, I respected her as a friend because I love her, and I respected her as a person and I admire her. But a year and 4 months ago, I wouldn't have said I would have followed her. But when the light bulb clicked in her and something changed, her whole countenance changed. What came out of her mouth changed. The way she spoke changed. The way she led changed. And now people follow Rebecca Plant out of out of the fact that they follow her as a leader because they respect her as a leader. And it's been her mindset shift that changed, and her words changed because the seeds that she began to plant changed. It's what you know, what kind of harvest do you want? Just decide. Because the harvest starts with the seed and then you water it. And it's just such an easy universal principle. It's leadership 101.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to point out, just because I hope that you guys understand this and y'all don't misunderstand that, you know, that confidence and that certainty it's not about a personality, right? Because there's all types of personalities out there. You know, like he said, some are loud, and some are, you know, kind of just, you know, direct, and some are, you know, monotone. But yet, you know, when somebody's talking with certainty, there's a confidence that comes out of them that demands respect and demands people to listen. So I don't want you to start thinking I have to be more like, or have to be more like. No, it's a mindset thing. It's you understanding that you've got to make sure that you control your mind. So the way you think comes out of your mouth, because if there's doubt and unbelief up here, or if there's anything that's not of your truest self, then it comes out of your mouth no matter what you say. You'll contradict yourself in little ways. People will pick up things that they'll see she's not confident, or he's not really competent, or he's not really sure, or he's, you know, whatever it may be, that you feel like, okay, I'm having to, you know, I'm not sure that this is somebody I'm ready to follow yet, because of the fact that they're not, you know, certain in where they're going and what they, because all those things come together that make those guys so dynamic. And so that's really, really key for you to understand. It's not like you have to have the personality like Joe to be successful. It's you have to have the certainty of Joe to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. And so let's finish with this, because it's important. I'm going to go back and recap. Remember, it's really about certainty combined with honor and integrity. Okay, that's the key to being authentic. That's the key to people really respecting you as a leader. But now overall, tying in that with what Diane said, you have to think about the words relaxed intensity. This is a huge leadership lesson. We've talked about it before, but leadership, when you're in your true self, you can only be you. You can't be somebody else. But in your truest self and your true identity, the best leaders will always have relaxed intensity. They're not too over the top. They're not over charismatic. They're not under charismatic. They're not over this or under that. You can just sense a relaxed calmness, but intensity about them, that they know the direction they're going. And I know this person is stable and I can follow them. It's stability. That's what relaxed intensity really shows people, that you're stable. Okay. And through this growth process, just know, you know, that we always going to continue to remind you that you have an incredible support team. You know, you should always have 3 working leaders above you and their phone numbers dedicated to helping you, you know, answer questions, do 3-way phone calls, do Zooms, help you win, you know, we can't make it happen for you, but you got to rely on a support team, because sometimes you're going to enter it when you're young and maybe not at the leadership level that you wish you were at yet. You may bring somebody to the table that just needs, you know, there's someone on your support team above you that's just packing the goods, and you can and they just adopt that person of yours, and they start helping them win big time. Well, you get one, you get to smile all the way to the bank, and two, you get an opportunity to grow a lot in the process and help whenever you can. But appreciate the fact that you have a leader above you that's also helping you and supporting you in that process. But if you don't take the initiative on the fellowship side of using your support team of 3 valuable leaders above you that can help you work this thing, then it's only your fault for not taking, and I'm not being mean to you. I'm just telling you, it's on you. You're the one that should, Jesus said, ask, seek, knock. You got to ASK to GET. You got to ask to get. You got to seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be open. Well, these are the things you have to do with leaders above you. You have to ask, seek, and knock, and be persistent. So make sure you have your support team's phone numbers of the 3 working leaders, 3 working distributors or brand partners above you that are dedicated or will dedicate themselves to helping you win if you're teachable and coachable, and you will work the system, because that's a big one. I mean, I'm not going to just sink my teeth into and all my time into, nor is Diane, if someone that doesn't want to be teachable and coachable and want to work the system, because we know the system works. Like, when it is fun. I want to go back to one thing too no, I won't cover that today, but now let me touch on it. It's going to be good for you, but just rehashing something, like we're hearing people in other countries that, they really do say sometimes, you don't understand. People are different here, people this, people that. And I go, no. The message is simple. Drop me out of a plane, and I don't care if you drop me in Denmark. I don't care if you drop me in Sweden. I don't care if you drop me, in Pakistan. I don't care, wherever you drop me, I'm going to win. And I'm going to win, not because I'm arrogant and prideful, and not because my name's Danny McDaniel. That's not it. I'm going to win because I know what I have. I know the seeds I'm carrying. I know what I have my hands on, what product I have. And I know the systems and the tools I have, and I know how it works. And so it works everywhere. And it's my message. It's the message that I'm carrying. So I can take this message into Mexico and win. I can take this message into Thailand and win, because people are doing it. Anyone who works our system, they're winning in other countries besides just the United States. The ones that are teachable and coachable, and the ones that aren't winning, that will say, oh, you just don't know, people are skeptical here and it's harder here and all that. Yeah, it is. You know why it is? Because you certainly think that way. And when you certainly think that way, that's those weeds. It's the weeds. The weeds start growing around what you planted or what you want to plant, and the weeds take over and choke it out, and you don't get the harvest. And these things right here don't show up because the weeds took over. And it's the weeds of your mind and the weeds of your heart. You got to grow as a leader. Sow winning seeds, sow seeds of certainty. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And so, just summing this up before we open it up for, any comments or any questions you guys have, is just, stopping again to evaluate on the areas that you get to be intentional about, because we know that, especially if we go back to the 5 C's, we know that there's areas that some of you are really great in, but yet you may be missing the mark in some other areas. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you're not a great leader. It's just that those are the things that you need to become certain in. Those are the things that you need to start speaking life over. Again, planting the seeds of the reality of what your true self is, and not the lie of what you're not, but who you are becoming. And that's the great thing about this, is like, it is all about who we get to become in the process of, doing incredible things and this great opportunity. So you guys are doing a great job. The team wouldn't be growing as fast as it's growing if you guys weren't doing a great job. So we're so proud of you. And then your desire, all 269 of you today, to be on, to grow and to become more in this setting it's just beautiful and very, very exciting for what's going to happen to this continued to grow team all over the world.
Yeah, because a team that has a leadership culture and has a leadership focus cannot be stopped. And you guys are you're gonna rise up and be incredible some of you already are like high level leaders. I mean, we're trying to help everyone get to that high level leadership point where you win in so many areas of life. This is more than just, you know, making some money. This is about winning in every area of your life, winning in the area of your life, your marriage, your parenting, your business, your ministry, your entrepreneurship, your other things that you do in life, everything. So that's why we do this. Okay. Comments, questions? Terry Miller.
Hey there. Oh my gosh. You know, every single week I'm like, oh, this is my favorite. But this week I probably listened to this one 3 or 4 times. And I have been in direct selling since I was 21. I was beyond fortunate. And as you can imagine, my leadership skills were nothing. I don't even know if my communication skills or my any type of skills were anything at that point. And I was beyond fortunate to be third level to Mary Kay Ash herself. And and then in the second direct selling world I was in, I had some great mentors. And where I'm going with this is the direct selling world is a phenomenal place to have mentorship for your leadership. It's sincere. It's, you know, in the 5 levels of leadership, the skill set is there. If your support team is doing they've got the skills. They can transfer the skills to you, but also they are definitely intrinsically motivated to assist you. And so when you're being a responder, Danny, I love that word. It's one that I've absolutely adopted. When you're being a responder, when you're doing when you're showing up, you're growing and all that, they're going to be in there to work with you. So if your leadership level is not yet at a 8, 9, or 10, that is okay in the direct selling world because you've got a support team there for you. If you're, you know, I loved again the course today, listening to it. If you happen to be, you know, currently at like a 6, that's okay. You can bring in a 9 or 10 because you've got a support team that's going to assist you. But it is the confidence that you have to bring them to the table to assist. The direct selling world and how it's modeled is so beautiful for this, you know, this level of leadership, this type of leadership.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It is. And they get it for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not paying $2,500 for a conference. That's awesome, Terry. Anybody else? Questions about today? Comments?
I see the comments in the chat. It's awesome.
Okay.
I'll talk a minute if I may. This is Judy Mallard. couldn't find my hand.
Hey, Judy.
Respect is amazing, and sometimes it's difficult when you go through trials when you're trying to build this business. Not only to look for the respect, but to give the respect because everybody's watching you. I didn't boast, I didn't brag, but I was pretty honored to say from when I started this that I had a dream. I had a vision board. I implemented the goals. I talked to the people. I did the ranks. And we got our house. We got everything's all ready. We're going to close next month. And then all of a sudden the enemy comes in and all kinds of stuff happens. How do you act when that happens? Well, your people are watching you, the good, bad, and the ugly, even while we're living life. So I so need that because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I am a leader. I feel like I'm a great leader. I want to be a better leader. You know, you're never there, but I strive to follow those that have stepped before me, Diane and Danny and you, Terry, and all our leaders. I'm so grateful. This company, gosh, you guys, we have it all. How dare us not even grab it? How, you know, I love that we can embrace this. And we have this free training. You know, we get the workbook, you get to write your notes, and then you get your Bible, you get to go talk to the Lord and let him lead you in all this. My biggest thing this week was a couple of sermons that I listened to, and it was about I thought. And it's Stephen Furtick. I think he's out of Houston. He's amazing pastor. But you know, I thought we get in our head, right? And anyway, it just to put us to a whole new level yesterday. I mean, I could just give me wings, I could fly even through the adversity. But I can't tell you how grateful I am for this. Every step of all this leadership training and everything you guys do, from the Zooms to Joe Navarro to Carrie Roberson, and watching you guys do all these trips, just knowing, guys, we just do it. We could go with them. They're all coming.
They are.
Absolutely.
It's so good.
Yes.
Thanks, Judy.
And as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So
Amen. Yes,
thoughts become things.
right.
Great. Sylvia?
Uh-oh.
Okay, I just want to comment on pages 84 and 85. You know, people need people. You know, we need people in our businesses. We need people in our life. We need people in our churches. Without the people, we have no businesses. Without the people, and to encourage and to lead and to guide and to direct, there, you know, we lose businesses. We see that every day with people ordering online from Amazon. We're losing our businesses in our local towns. But on page 84 in the book, it says people go their own way when a group first comes together, which is true. You all
Yeah.
want your own ideas. You all have your own, you know, thoughts. You all have your own visions. And then soon people change directions to follow the better leaders, because you're listening, you're growing, you're getting more education, and then eventually your eyes are opened like mine, and people naturally align themselves and follow leaders to better themselves. And that's where we need to aim, and we need to press on and be leaders as well, because you know, every day that you're on the calls, you just get better and better of, you have more knowledge of understanding and what's going on, and it really you know, it's inspiring to see others grow, and you wish you were there, and you can be there, and you know that you can be there because you know what the kind of person you are. But without people helping people, it just doesn't work. And you know, I want to encourage everybody to just, you know, pick up the phone call and just call one person at a time. I went to get my nails done yesterday, and she seen my skin, and she said, wow, she said, the elasticity of your skin is just beautiful. She said, what are you doing? So it opened the door for me to talk to her about the patches. And then soon she said, I'm not asking you all these questions to be nosy Rosie. She said, I'm asking you these questions to get more knowledge of your understanding of your business. And I thought, wow, nobody has ever said that to me. So that there really opened my eyes, because, you know, we have to follow those that are leaders. We have to follow Joe. We have to follow Brittany and Chance. We have to follow Jordan. We have to follow, you know, Danny and Diana. We all, you know, getting on the call every single day, you learn and you grow, and people just have to help people.
Yeah, so good.
That's great, Sylvia. It's
Yeah.
a great perspective. You know, I love those 2 pages because it shows how important community is. You know, we're growing a volunteer army, and it does go from, you know, people just doing their own thing to all of a sudden you get to, as you grow, people, you know, when people don't have a higher lid level yet, they got to be part of something bigger than themselves, and you're moving them toward success. Everything's about, you know, we're moving toward the same goal line, and everybody's going together. And that's what it takes. That's why Zooms like this are important. That's why conventions are important. That's why big meetings are important, because of situations like that, where the higher level leaders are going to be leading, you know, and the army is coming so that everybody can have the best chance to win. It's a great perspective. Devin?
Hi there, Devin Corliss here. I just wanted to thank you guys, because I'm new to the company, like very new. And the product so far in just less than 2 weeks has been amazing. I'm seeing already some things. I really appreciate the leadership that this team has because you guys, I feel your heart, the consistency that you do all the time. Terry, her great trainings that we get, and my brand partners above me that they keep me, informed with all the things. So I'm just really excited. I've been in direct sales before, and I always felt like I was on an island by myself. And so I don't feel by myself. I feel like this is great. And I'm really excited for my future and for all my customers and brand partners that are coming because they need this. And so, yeah, thank you
So
so
good.
much.
Well, we're excited
Yes.
for you, Devin. Where do you live?
Welcome.
In Arizona,
Where?
in Sun City.
Oh,
Yeah, I
lovely.
hit the 55 and older club. I just turned 61. So it's like, whew. So I have a lot of people that really need to get on this because we
Yeah,
have
you
aches and
do.
pains and things like that. So, yeah.
Oh, you're in the gold mine. You're in the gold mine of all neighborhoods in the United States.
Yes.
I
That's
actually have an appointment when my next door neighbor, we're getting together this afternoon so I can tell her my exciting news.
that's
So,
so
Yeah.
great.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just got to see every single house in Sun City is a new mine shaft.
I
You know?
actually want to go door to door.
Yeah.
But I have to get my brain slowed down a little bit because I get
Yeah.
overly excited and I don't want to vomit on people. So I'm learning to like back up a little bit and I'm trying to, take a
Relax
breath and
intensity.
just give
Yeah.
the little bit that they need to get going and then we'll add to it from there.
Good.
That's great.
Oh,
Really great.
Danny, well, I guess I should wait in line, but I was going to ask you, I'm in Sun City right now visiting.
That's
And
great.
this morning I went to play pickleball and I gave some patches to this one lady. And then a guy come up to me later and he said to me, well, you were talking about some patches with Yuma, the good lady. And I said, yeah. He says, well, I want to know about them. So I sent him information on that just less than an hour ago. But if you guys got any ideas on Sun City, I didn't know it was a gold mine. Tell me. I'm here till next Tuesday.
Oh.
well, that's real simple. It's 55 and older.
Yeah.
So
That's why it's a gold mine. Everybody needs what they what we have. So just have conversations. You're
Yeah.
gonna do great. Looks like it's already happening.
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
That's great.
that's awesome.
Interesting.
It's really good. What about Laura Kelly? Are you still there?
She might have had. to
Yeah, I'm
leave.
here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You bet, Laura.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to add something that I feel like I've kind of learned as it goes as respect. If you like reflect back on kind of areas and God opens your heart to something you did that maybe wasn't where it should have been, I find it so helpful to go back to people and just say, hey, like I messed up.
Yeah.
Here's what I should have done. And I love that you're saying this impacts every area of our life because it really is such a huge lesson to learn that it's not too late. They can still choose to, not want to follow you, but I think it's very respectable to take the time to go back and admit where you've done wrong when God convicts you of something and see
No
if that
doubt.
you can get their trust back and respect.
No doubt. That's one of the keys to humility.
Yep.
It's being able to ask people for forgiveness, to be able to admit your wrongs. Sometimes we feel, we want to raise kids and we want to teach kids, hey, you need to go tell so and so you're sorry. We're really good at that as parents. Go tell them you're sorry. Go tell them this, go tell them that. But then we become adults and the Holy Spirit tells us to go tell them you're sorry and you fight him because you don't want to do it. Where sometimes we do have to pick up the phone and actually literally call people and tell them we're sorry. I'm sorry I came across that way. I'm sorry that my tone was off. I'm sorry that that you received this message a certain way. That's great stuff because that's just part of leadership. It's the humility part to always be able to admit our wrongs. And that's how, we're going to win the respect of others. Not that we're trying to win their respect, but, we're just trying to be right in God's eyes. It's great. Carrie?
Hi, can you hear me this time?
Got you, Carrie.
Okay. So I am very new to this. I have only been doing the patch for 2 weeks, and like I love this chapter because I jumped into it at the premium package, not even trying the patch, because the person that got me into it, I have been friends with for a long time, and like they always seem to try new things, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't or whatever, but like they're just people that are easily followed. So and they're charismatic at the same time, so they're like, you want to follow them and you want to be a part of whatever they're a part of. So I love that. But I also love that you were talking about authenticity, because there's so many times like we're told like just fake it till you make it, and it's nice to hear the other side of it, like
Yeah.
just be your authentic self and tell people like, okay, I'm new and I've never done direct sales before, and in fact I always said like I didn't want my income to have to rely on selling something. And so it's funny, like we just moved into a older community where I'm only 49, but the people around me are quite a bit older, and so it's nice to see them trying to at least be open-minded with it. So um, loving that the authenticity side of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really great.
exactly.
Yeah, it's okay to say, I don't know, I'm new. That's a great question. And always know you have help.
That's how you win.
Yeah.
You win with that authenticity. Yeah, we've never prescribed to the fake it till you make it club at all, because that just doesn't work. And it's false, and it's a sham, and you just don't fake it till you make it. You tell people exactly where you are, but you tell them where you're headed. And
Yeah.
hey, right now I don't have two nickels to rub together, but here's where I know I'm going, and I'm going to be there, and here's why.
Right.
So,
I also was a kindergarten teacher at this in my previous career path, and when you were talking about like we make our children say like they apologize for something, and it's like I went a step further and said like tell them what you're sorry for, not just that you're
exactly.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes a difference, because kids will say I'm sorry, but then they won't know exactly what it's for, and then it's like, oh, okay. So if you do that with regular people or little people, anybody will listen to that.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're really good at walking up to somebody and going, sorry. Oh yeah, sure. Well, that's great. Well, welcome to the team, Carrie. We're glad you're here. You're sitting on a gold mine too, if you're the youngest one in your neighborhood. Claudette? Or Rebecca, either one.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I'm very, very grateful for y'all for doing this. And I bought this book, and I've studied John Maxwell and different type of leadership coaches like that over the years. But there's just something about it this time around that just hits different. And I have to say that I'm so grateful to Gina Stutz for introducing me to this opportunity. I literally cried and I said, Gina, I can't remember the last time I dreamed that I even wanted to dream. And it was just it moved me so much. And so that's what I hope that I can give to other people. And I have such great leadership, with Brittany Robinson and Brittany and Rick Francis. They're always so available to me. And I tell you what, Danny and Diane, the people I am meeting and bringing onto the team, I am learning from them. I mean, the leadership qualities they have in them are it's just natural. It's just built in. And everything that we're talking about, I mean, I have chills right now. I know I don't have my camera on. There's a good reason for that. But I have chills right now because it's just, this has been so entirely life-changing for me. I don't even know where to begin to explain it. That I can think Lifewave 24/7. I have to actually stop myself, and I'm like, okay, you got to have a break, and I've got to get back in the gym, and do the things that I need to do. And um, but it's just absolutely phenomenal. And I am so grateful to the leaders that came in before me and the ones that are coming into my team. They are rock stars. And everything that you said, that gentle and intensity, that humility. And, I've got a couple that will call me almost every day and ask me, and I know it's going to be a long conversation and they're going to ask me a ton of questions. I write every one of those questions down and I find those answers for them. And I tell them, I'm going to call you back as soon as I get these answers for you. And I mean, I'm so grateful for this community and everyone in this company and for David Schmidt. Every time I think of him, I keep thinking it's only the beginning. He always says that it's only the beginning and it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And then one of my, Reagan asked me, Claudette, why do you keep saying it's just the beginning? I said, you listen to every David Schmidt thing I send you. There's a 60-minute question and answer with him. And Reagan listened to that. And I know he probably listened to it more than once. And then he called me back and he said, he's teaching me on what David Schmidt said in that Q&A. And he said, have you listened to the whole thing or not? I mean, he's holding me accountable now, and I said, honestly, I've listened to parts of it and those parts just instantly clicked. It was just a question and answer, just all basic, great stuff. And I know he listened to that probably twice in one day on his way to work and on his way drive home. So I just cannot thank y'all enough to see how it changes everyone's lives. And like you said, financially, physically, but it's changing relationships.
Yes.
It's changing people. I can see a difference, when I first started I have two sons, a 30-year-old and a 27-year-old, and I know they were making fun of me and I wasn't letting that stop me. And now I'm sensing a completely, a shift in conversations with them. And, I'm just not giving up. There is nothing and no one that can stop me from this. Nobody, nobody. This is for life. And I just met with a district manager in pharmaceutical sales. And for an hour and a half, we walked outside and she looked at me and she said, Claudette, she said, all this work we've done for all these other companies all these years. I said, yes. She said, we can do this for ourselves. I said, exactly. Exactly. And I'm just so fired up. I'm so grateful for the leadership, for y'all, everything. I'm gonna stop myself now. Y'all have a great day.
Well, that's
Great.
amazing.
Oh, so
I
good.
see, I hear certainty. That's what I
Yes,
hear.
Yes.
I hear the certainty of your belief, the message, and where you're going. That's absolutely amazing, Claudette. That's
Thank you.
fantastic because that's what we experienced in Denmark. And we're in Denmark and we don't have time to say all this today, but gosh,
No.
I mean, if you could just, there's things that we can't even reveal to y'all. Like there was one of the days on Friday where we couldn't have our phone the entire day. Once our buses arrived at the facility we went to, we had to, and it was noon. We didn't have our phones again till like 8:30 at night. So for 8 hours, we had to lock our phones up. So,
Nice.
and if we could tell you everything, no one here would quit. No one.
Which is why he did what he did. He
Yeah.
wanted to put the certainty into all the leaders so we could continue to carry it forth. Even though we can't say anything, he still wanted us to know. So that certainty in all of us would definitely, filter through our organization, and just the confidence in where we know we're going, you guys trusting us in that same way.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to end this thing. Law of respect. You guys know it. It's time to be certain as a leader, and people will certainly follow you. You guys are amazing. Have a great week. God bless you. Thanks for jumping on today.
Bye, guys.